me tell you the truth about the Legend of Korra. Kuvira's crazy. Spoilers. Now I'm just gonna talk about. I'm new to YouTube. I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on the Legend of Korra as a whole. Now, I follow the show because I'm into martial arts. And not only martial arts, but entertainment. And I think there's absolutely nothing good on TV right now, except for The Legend of Korra, which is apparently back on TV. I love the first series. You know, the Avatar Last Airbender. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. But Legend of Korra is also one of my favorite shows of all time. I don't consider Avatar and Korra to be different shows. I think they're the same show. Like when I think of Avatar, I say there's 7 seasons. I don't say that there's 3 and 4. I say that there's 7 because I think of the show as a whole. It's kind of like I'm pretty. It's like the original series to the next generation in Star Trek, and I consider Star Trek to have 10 seasons. That I've seen so far. I haven't seen Deep Space Nine or any of that. That's a whole nother topic. But same thing with Korra. In Avatar, I consider them the same show. Each season the animation progressively gets better. Same thing with Korra. So I consider them the same show. It's a continuation of the world. With Avatar, it seemed to be good versus evil, and with Korra, it seems to be spirituality versus technology. Just think about that. Like, pretty much Kuvira in this season is technology and the battle of technology and spirituality. She's cutting down the trees, and she is pretty much destroying everything that's spiritual. In the Korra universe, even the spirit vines, and she's abusing that energy, and that's villains abuse things like that's all the Avatar villains. Ozai, Aman, Unalak, Zahir, and Kuvira's, they abuse their ideals. They abuse their world with their ideals. Now, I'll tell you something interesting. Zahir and Kuvira are completely different villains. One is for anarchy, and Kuvira seems to be about totalitarianism. Now, I'm not sure, maybe that's why the season's called Balance, because Korra is supposed to be the balance in between that. See, Zahir was too far that way, and Kuvira's too far this way. Too far no government, and too far too far government control. It's kind of like what we've seen in the past. Zahir could be could relate to Cuba. A lot of people say relates to China. I think it relates to like Cuba. Like, think about it. Che was a famous anarchist. Was for anarchy and not too much government. And he was a famous revolutionarist that pretty much almost destroyed Cuba. And then you have the other guy, Fidel Castro, who is like communism, government control, wants to control everything. Now, Zahir could be a representation of Che, and Kuvira could be a representation of Fidel Castro. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm talking about that Kuvira is just flat out crazy. Now, Kuvira, she destroys the ones she loves. She destroys her mentor, all because of her arrogant will to reunite the Earth Empire. She's probably the most crazy out of the villains. Let's do this. I mean, think about it. At least here didn't sacrifice the one he loves. At least Amon didn't, you know. And even, yeah, I guess you could say Unalak, but at least he didn't try to kill. You know, Unalak with the spirit vines, you know, and Eska and Desna are like, you know, shooting water to open up the portal. I mean, not spirit vines. Sorry, I'm thinking about the fourth season. Kuvira shooting the water. I mean, not Unalak and his kids shooting the water into the spirit portal, and Desna gets injured, and he just ignores Desna. But at least he didn't want to kill anyone once he left. I mean, Ozai, she's almost on the same level as Ozai. Kuvira is pretty much this. She's pretty much Ozai with technology, pretty much. I mean, Ozai still had technology. I mean, he had the blimp and all that. But she has, like, she's pretty much like, let's say Ozai is like Genghis Khan, and Kuvira is like Hitler. Two completely evil people. Genghis Khan didn't have much technology, but they're pretty much equally crazy. The reason why Hitler killed more people is he had guns and bombs and all that. So, again, another reflection of history. Kuvira is just abusing her brilliant mind on technology, and that's just unlikable. I never liked Kuvira. People think Kuvira is the most likable villain in Korra. I disagree. I mean, I think she's a great villain, don't get me wrong. But I was never on her side. I actually preferred Prince Wu over Kuvira. Kuvira seems like that, manly aunt that always gets in the way and strict, and you know what I mean, like an evil, like an evil manly woman. That's Kuvira. I don't know. Batar Jr. is a complete wet noodle, but at least he wasn't crazy in the head. I mean, he was crazy for Kuvira. I guess he actually loved her, but Kuvira didn't feel the same way, unfortunately. That just shows what kind of person Kuvira is. Kuvira is just the most heartless person since Ozai. I mean, Kuvira and Ozai are not completely different. People think Ozai is very black and white. It's because he didn't. Kuvira is the one that thinks it, and Ozai blatantly says it. So Kuvira doesn't seem as crazy as Ozai because she has to act intelligent and official. She doesn't really tell you what's really going on in her mind, and that's, destruction and power hungry. Oman wanted equality. Unalak wanted spiritual enlightenment. Zahir wanted freedom. Kuvira just wants things for herself. She's probably the most arrogant villain on Korra because she seems like the most selfish. And believe it or not, I think that's great. Korra needs to, because she's supposed to be a representation of what Korra used to be. It's pretty much Korra fighting her past, and that's what the show is all about. It's all about overcoming great obstacles, pretty much. And I think that's a great obstacle for Korra to overcome. I hope she kicks Kuvira's ass in the episode. But it will probably be the most satisfying butt kicking since George McFly punched Biff in the face. It's gonna be like, yes, she did it. She did it. Now, Kuvira could win. She could kill the Avatar, but she'd probably lose, but she could beat Korra. And Korra might have to give her life. Sad but true, but I hope not. It's currently Monday, and then the last episode's gonna be on Friday. So, this is my opinion. Kuvira is just plainly crazy. She could be related to Azula. Think about it. Think about it. It doesn't really say where Azula ended up. She could have ended up in the Earth Kingdom and spawned a couple Earth Kingdom babies with their crazy ideology that she inherited from her father. There's still 2 more episodes left, people. We don't know 100% about her. She could be following the tradition of. Notice how she was angry when she mentioned Fire Lord Zuko and Aang. She's like Fire Lord Zuko. Interesting. But The Legend of Korra is just great TV show, best TV show on TV right now. You know, better than The Voice, better than anything on MTV, better than anything on Fox News. It's even better than anything on Nickelodeon. It's better than The Simpsons. It's the best cartoon to inherit the TV since probably the last season of Avatar. And I think they're one continuous TV show. And each of the villains gets interesting. I even thought the previous seasons of Avatar had their own separate villains. Like, I know Ozai was like the Emperor Palpatine of it all, but I always thought like Zhao was like the Darth Vader. Or like, I thought Zhao was like the main antagonist of Book 1. I thought, Long Fang with Book 2, and then we finally get to the meat of it all, Ozai. Then we get Amon, who's probably the most powerful villain in the Avatar universe. I mean, all he would have to do is whack, and his enemies would be disabled. I'm not counting Unavatu, because he turned into a monster. I think even so, Amon could probably whack a giant monster. He was able to do it to a whole room, so why not a 25-foot spiritual monster man? So yeah. And Zahir, Zahir, he's probably the most interesting villain. He's probably the least selfish, because he's thinking about others of Korra villains. I think that's more interesting, how something that's like, he wants it for the whole people, and something that's so good becomes bad. Who doesn't want freedom from government? I mean, I'm not saying government is bad, but they can breathe down your neck sometimes, and they can do bad things to good people. Let's just say that. I'm not anti-government, but they can do bad things to good people. Let's just say that. And so Zahir, he has that interesting ideology going that way. Now Kuvira, she's like the first one since Ozai that's just selfish. Her goal wasn't to reunite the Earth Empire. The goal was to reunite the Earth Empire under her jurisdiction, so she could be the most powerful woman in the world. If they don't stop Kuvira here, who's to say that she won't try to conquer the Water Kingdom? The Water Tribe. Who to say that she won't conquer the Fire Nation? Or, she could spread all over the world because she's the uniter. That's a lie. She is a liar. She's just selfish. She just wants all the glory. Maybe she didn't get enough attention as a child, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna prove to the world that I can take it over, and you all have to follow me. So, I think she's on the same level as Azula, only she has more power and technology. And, same level as Ozai, only she has more technology. She's probably as crazy and selfish. She could become Mark Hamill if she wanted to, but she holds it back. She's like Khan. Khan can, from Star Trek, Khan can yell, but yet she keeps it inside herself. But seriously, in her mind, she's like, power and hungry. So Kuvira, in my opinion, is the most power-hungry villain of Korra. She's probably my second favorite villain out of the entire Avatar series. I think I'm going to be an oddball on this. I'm going to say Zahir. No, she's my third favorite villain of the Avatar universe. Behind Zahir, Amon, then Kuvira,